Hi guys, I want to talk to you about container gardening today. I want you, Gracie, you gonna help me do the video? Yeah? These containers I actually got at a garage sale and they were marked free. They have drainage holes in the bottom, and so I decided to bring them home with me and create another zone for tomatoes. So I'm growing some super sweets. Those are called super sweet. That one, I guess I could. So that's a super sweet. You can probably see the label. That one's just, I call it my favorite tomato because I don't know the name or the breed or where it came from, but I just know it is my favorite. It's a perfect little, not a cherry tomato, but not a full tomato. It's kind of small, really sweet and delicious. Just the right amount of meaty to juicy. And then we've got carrots commingled in, and then we've got some mortgage busters and some other different breeds. There's a large cherry tomato back there, another super sweet, and then a couple of my the favorites, again with carrots. So if all you have is a patio, you can do this. If all the space you have is a little backyard, you can do this. You can start as small as that. That's what I did. My first year, I started that small because I was unsure. I didn't know if I could do it or not. Here's another example. You can turn landscaping into an edible landscape. This is orange mint, and if you could smell this, just a little rub of the leaf, it smells amazing. And you know, you clip some of that and you can put that in your tea or with your coffee or whatever floats your boat. You could make an ice cream and flavor it with an orange mint. I think it would go really well with chocolate. Just really, really, what a fun way to landscape a yard, right? Or a back deck or a patio or whatever. And then we have an elderberry tree that is what we started planting here. You can see the microbiome is really healthy. We've got mushrooms growing. We decided to throw a little carrot in there with the marigolds. And then over here we've got strawberries. One huge sunflower that just decided to volunteer up through the bricks. And then over here we've got a couple of recycled planters, and we have some little peppers growing in there. Amaranth spinach. See how small these containers are? Anybody can do it. Space is not an issue. Some peppermint growing here. More strawberries. You can see that some of these strawberries are coming around, getting ready to ripen up. So, and then here's some African basil along with some purple opal basil. This is just in a hanging pot. So room is not an excuse. Space is not an excuse to not get into gardening. Get those hands dirty, get out there. Get your hands dirty. It's so fun. You can do this. And when you decide to do whatever it is you're gonna do, what container you're gonna choose, share it with me. Let's do it together. If you have questions, I'd love to help you. Let's get you going. Let's get you started in gardening.
Good morning, chickens. Good morning, chickens. Are you stretching your wings? Barnyard antics. Gracie, you're supposed to be quiet. Remember that? You're supposed to be quiet. Don't bark at the neighbors. Garden's really coming in. How exciting. It's the best time of the year. So exciting. Let's go check and see if the bunnies have made a meal. of our lettuce again. So they were making a meal of the basil. So I made these little protective, I just cut the bottom out of a cup and put that around. And it seems like it's doing a pretty good job. They really ate it down to size, but it looks like everything else seems to be pretty good. Look at that pepper plant. That is a happy, happy pepper plant. And those are called super chili peppers. See that? Super chili. And this looks like someone has nibbled. Made a little bit of a meal out of that, but they haven't come back. So that was yesterday. And this one looks just fine, untouched. So I think we're gonna be okay. I was gonna put up a bunny guard, but it looks like we're gonna be okay. Look at these tomato plants. Since I put them in, they just seem like they're just so happy. I love that. So they're getting to the size now where we're going to put up probably today, well, it's supposed to rain today, but by this weekend, we'll go ahead and put up this is from that big storm we had, blowing all kinds of stuff in here. But anyway, we'll put up a guard that we'll be able to tie those tomatoes to. So once they get big enough, and this is our little squash experiment. So we've got squash and watermelon, and then I think some pumpkin in there just to see how it goes. We can let that come up and grow up into the neighbor's area. And then our blackberry bush, its blossoms are going crazy. It's doing great. And look at all those berries. Can you see that? Look at those berries. This is a brand new transplant. We transplanted it last year, so it overwintered here. And it is, from what I understand, I got it from my friend, and they said it's very prolific and it does great. The only problem is, yes, it is thorned. And the other blackberry bushes that we have, we got the non-thorn variety. But this was given to us and we thought, you know what, we'll give it a try. Why not? Why not? After all, the garden is always an experiment. And the girls are just going nutty today. I come out and let them out of their coop into their run, and they hear me up here and they just think that they're like little dogs. They just want to follow me around. It's so cute. Are you serious? Let's not jump into the trees. Blue, get out of the tree. Get out of the tree. What do you think you're doing? You want some peach leaves? Well, I better get out of here. I don't want her to know that she can jump over this fence. So, I want to stress that you're seeing these big beds of mine and you're probably thinking, oh, that's so nice. It's so pretty. But how could I do that? I would like to encourage you to start small. Take one little seed, put it in one little cup, and let it grow. And then once it's grown big like these, you can kind of see how these have gotten tall, then you transplant it to a bigger container. And just start with one thing. The main message that I have is just start. Just start. I started 3 years ago. This is I think this is my fourth. I'm gonna have to look back and see that. Also, I just want to PS on this one. I've got a bunch of kale planted here, brassicas throughout, but then these guys are sunflowers. We had a lot of sunflowers, and over the winter I was bored, so I went to making birdhouses. So there's lots of birds around, and so I thought, you know, I'm just going to grow these sunflowers up until they start shading out other things. So if it starts to shade the brassicas,
then I'll go ahead and cut them back, feed them to the chickens. But the more that I can grow food for nature around me, the better it is. This is my lovely mulch pile. And then my emergency planting of the tomatoes that the storm blew over. I just selected a couple of places in my yard. This is an area we don't use. The previous owners had put these big lamps in. They were going to put a pool in the backyard. And so that's where all this comes from. That's why we have these weird brick columns everywhere. It's because they were planning a big pool. Well, that never came to fruition, and we have not been able to get these huge cement blocks out of here. So that's a chore to do. So there's those tomatoes. They should do pretty well here next to the fig. Got a big sunflower that's growing up there, which are they're the Mammoth Sunflowers. They are amazing. They're so beautiful. And then here's another spot where we put another a bigger, this one's called a mortgage buster. These tomatoes get really big and beautiful. So I thought I'd put it close to a fence so I could have that to tie up to. And then my new wheelbarrow. I'm so excited about that. It's a workhorse. And then over here, we've got the pepper plant. I told you I'd give you an update on this pepper plant because when we transplanted it, it was not happy. And it looks like something's been nibbling here at it. So I'll just pop those little leaves off and let that keep going along. We've got a couple of beets coming up back there. I believe in interplanting, given your area the best possible ability to grow, to live, to thrive. So I'm not a culture unicrop type of a person. I want to plant as much as I can plant, as much as these beds will let me. And then I use a really, really rich soil. And then I compost, it's a compost mix. There's a bunch of tomatoes that I had grown in a non-vented container, and man, it just did not turn out well. So I just threw them in a bucket there just to see if they'll come around. Who knows? Here's our little squash bed. I'm trying a chop and drop technique that I learned about from friends online, where if something doesn't make it, you basically just chop it and let it become food for the next generation that's coming up. So, and while I'm here, take a look at these grapevines. I don't know if you can see that, but let me zoom in. It's got tons of grapes. See all those grape babies? This is going to be a really, really good year for grapes. And we've made a home for a red-breasted robin. The little nest is right there. It's a beautiful pair of red-breasted robins, and look at those grapes. Those are coming along. That's so exciting. Last year we made grape jelly. We were able to give some away to friends. How fun. And then the garden's down here. It's been raining, torrentially raining, so it's kind of boggy back here. Something exciting happening. So we've got just a big mix of things. Last year we had a really hard time growing cucumbers and squash, and this year they're just doing wonderful. I don't know what the difference is, but they're doing wonderful. And these tomato plants are getting so big. Very exciting. Very exciting. Almost ready to tie up. So this is the tie up that we used here last year, and it was more than filled. So these plants are going to go all the way up to here, and we'll tie them from here and give them some support. So these are the irises, I think is the right name for the flowers. So they grow in the front and then they just fall over. So I did some chop and drop with those. Hopefully that's a good healthy thing. And then I pulled up some onions because of my emergency need for transplanting those tomatoes. The tomatoes were, or the onions were pretty much done. So I did a chop and drop with those. Look at my cute little pepper. Isn't he cute? And then here we are about to flower. And these are the Clemson Spineless okra. Then that's a mortgage buster that we put in after it fell over. So hopefully they look pretty good, not too shocky. And then this pepper plant, looking fantastic, growing some nice big peppers. This is serranos. And this one was a cheat. We bought this one started, and it is doing fabulous. Can't wait to have tomatoes from this one. You can see, as I drop my phone, you can see the little tomato guys. See them? Already starting some tomatoes. Right here. Can't wait, so fun. But here's our happy cucumbers. Look at those. I love it when the water dances on the edge of the leaf. I think that's so beautiful. It's a very artistic thing for nature to do. Beautiful. And then a couple other little tomato plants. This is a special tomato plant to me. My son got it for me. It's called a strawberry cherry, and I've never had it before, so we thought we would try them out. It was one of the ones that got dumped, so we'll see how that goes. And then these squash plants are just doing really, really well. It's a beautiful morning to be in the garden. This is peace. Productive, regenerative peace, sustainable. We found a way to make the soil healthier, richer, at the same time growing food for the family while we sequester carbon from the air as it travels from the air down into the plants, through the plants, and into the soil, feeding the microbes, which in turn feed the plant, which in turn feeds us, making a healthier environment for everyone. Baby apples, so cute. Sweet potato starts. The slips were looking pretty rough, and now they've got new growth. Very exciting. Those are starting out really, really good. I hope I'm planting them right. It's my first time ever starting from slips and planting. Dino Kale doing great. Again, an experiment in a pot to see how it does compared to the ones that are in the ground. A little mix of everything over here. We've got some Scarlet Kale, Jacinto Kale, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. There's Dino Kale. And then this little beauty is called Amaranth Spinach. Isn't it pretty?
And this is ground cherries. We tried them last year and they were amazing. They were so much fun. They're a little cherry tomato that is in a wrapper. You can pick it, unwrap it, and eat it. And I've made many a breakfast just out of that. They are so good. And then this fig tree that we overwintered in this year, it is just really coming into itself. Look at all of that growth. That is beautiful. And then here's some more starts that are, it's time to get them in. The problem that I have now is finding a spot. Some little baby pepper plants that we forgot in kind of our greenhouse setup. We don't have a greenhouse, but we have a 4 seasons, so we raise a lot of plants in there. The ginger's doing fabulous. And then my son's tropical collection. He does a lot of the tropicals that I don't have the patience for. It's really fun though. So we had that big rain yesterday, and then today another big rain is coming. So I'm not going to water this morning in preparation for that rain. And if it doesn't rain, then I'll just come out and water this evening. We have irrigation systems that water. You can see the black lines that run through the gardens. Those are irrigation systems. And we're actually starting to get some climbing. It's always exciting to see them actually climb. So these cucumbers are doing fantastic, doing what they're supposed to do. And the nasturtiums are super happy. We've got some awesome kale growth. That's actually broccoli. More cucumbers, and then we've got more broccoli. The peas are coming along. They're slow growers, that's for sure. Here's another. The pea is doing pretty good. And then this is a whole bed of garlic. It's a Missouri garlic, so hopefully it'll do really well here. It's designed for our climate. So again, the first year of success with garlic. I've never been able to grow garlic or onions, so I'm pretty excited about these onions. They're looking pretty good. But you can see I have limited space, just making use of the space that I do have. Instead of wondering when I can get my acres, I'm making my own. Making my waiting room before I get all those acres into a classroom. And learning, getting my hands dirty. Gracie, are you helping? What are you after? Gracie, what did you find? What are you snacking on? It's good. It looks like it's good. I love the Thai basil. Can make some pesto today. Not out of that, but my son's aquaponics downstairs is what I'm making pesto out of. His basil is going crazy. I'll have to give you a tour of his aquaponics setup down there. It's amazing. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. And I really, really hope that this encourages anybody thinking about starting a garden, caring about the environment, caring about carbon sequestration, caring about soil. I hope this encourages you to just get started. Just start where you are. Start with what you have. Don't let space stop you or knowledge stop you. Just try. Just get your hands dirty. I hope you all have a very blessed day. Thanks for watching.